Today we finish out the Sinister review series with the final film in the franchise, which is Sinister 2. Let's get spooky. Greetings everyone, my name is Nightshade. This is The Night Shift, a home for all things spooky, and today we're talking about Sinister 2, released in 2015. This film, oh boy. There's a part of me that didn't want to do this simply because I'm going to be tearing this film down, and I don't want to be a negative person. I don't want to just put full negativity, full force at all. However, the completionist in me was all like, we have to finish the Sinister series. We did Sinister 1, we got to do Sinister 2, we got to do the follow-up, we have to do it. So with that being said, I want to let you know I'm not a huge fan of this film in particular. So if you are a fan of Sinister 2, maybe set this one out because I don't have a whole lot nice to say about it. It's all going to be relatively negative, so maybe skip this one and wait until next week whenever we do something else. I still have yet to decide what the next week's film review is going to be, but I'll think of something. It's just, this one I have a terrible time with, and so if you're a fan of Sinister 2, maybe skip this one out. As for everybody else, buckle up because I am going to rip into this film quite a lot. Now, the first time I saw Sinister 2, I actually saw it in theaters and I walked out midway through. I did not make it all the way through the movie. I actually never saw the ending of the film until this most recent time for this review. Like, I had not seen how it ended, and I think that was a wise decision on my part because the ending is nothing to write home about. It's pretty terrible, as a matter of fact. Like, they didn't make a Sinister 3, right? And that's for a good reason because this film is pretty trash. And not even the enjoyable, like, so bad it's good kind of trash. It's just trash all around. It's like they took everything that was bad about Sinister and we're gonna go ahead and move that to the forefront. Everything that was good, we're gonna throw that by the wayside. We don't need that right there. We don't need that at all. I gotta say, I genuinely hate this film, and I'm not one to hold on to negativity. I'm not one to want to do anything negative or anything that's going to ruin my mood, and this movie does just that. So we're gonna break this down into two categories, the positives and the negatives, but we always start off with the positives. That's it. There is no positives to this film. No, I'm just kidding. So the first positive of this film is Officer So-and-so. So Officer So-and-so was the police officer from the first film, and they still didn't decide to give him a name in this film for whatever. Now he's Private Eye So-and-so, which Dick So-and-so, I guess. And he is the only good thing about this movie, for me, personally. He's the only good character. He's the only good person in this film. He's the only likable person in this film. Like the cast, the rest of we're getting into the negatives. I was gonna shit on the rest of the cast. Don't worry, we got a huge list for that. So yeah, no, he still acts as a good character in this film. He's morally supportive of the mom and her twins, and he goes out of his way to make sure the abusive caricature of a husband kind of steers clear. He does his best, and his story is pretty much him trying to close off the kill loop from the first film. That's basically his whole story arc here. He is trying to close the killer loop, and he is the only person that is more than a one-dimensional character in this film, and that's gonna do it for the positives, unfortunately. And that's gonna do it for the positives. On to the negatives, of which there are very many. Up first on my negatives list, and that is going to be the 16mm footage. All the short films in this film were done with 16mm, not so much the 8mm film, and it shows. 16mm film does not have the same grainy quality, the same gritty quality, the same creepy quality at that. Also, all of those kill sequences try entirely too hard to be scary, I think. Like, take for instance the crocodile kill. That looks really bad. And, you know, the fact that we know that these are kids doing this, how does a child get their entire family hung upside down by a branch? And it just looks bad. Like, it doesn't look good. It doesn't feel as creepy, it doesn't feel as terrifying, and it's not good. There's a certain subtlety, there's a certain charm about the first one that is just missing. You know, like Randy said in Scream 2, there's more blood, more carnage, and they ramp it up in this one, and it doesn't work because it's missing that subtlety. It doesn't feel real, and that's what I liked about the first one. It feels like a real homemade serial killer video, and in this one it feels like a Hollywood produced piece of garbage, unfortunately. Like, it really shines through, and it's not good. I don't like it. It's not as enjoyable as the 8mm footage in the first film. It's very very much inferior to the first by a landslide. So up next on my list of negatives, and that's going to be the ghost children. The ghost children, for me, in the last film, were the worst thing of the film. Like, that was the top-notch worst thing that movie decided to do. And this film decides to put the worst thing and make them the stars of the show. You know, at least in the first one, they didn't really talk a whole lot. This one, they're having full-fledged conversations and breaking it down with the twins, and I can't remember their names right now. The twin boys that are, you know, the sons of the main mother character. I didn't remember any of these characters' names because they're not worth remembering. Now, in this film, the ghost children are trying their hardest to convince the twins to join them, you know, kill their mom, make a film, and join them, and, you know, partner up with Bagul and become part of the cult. And now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds even more ridiculous, but yeah, no, that's the entire plot of this film. Is ghost children are trying to recruit the twins, the main characters of this film, and it's as ridiculous as I'm making it sound. Probably worse, actually, because like, the acting is very cornball from the ghost children. Like, they're trying to be scary, but they're not being scary, and that's kind of the worst type of character in any horror movie. A character that's trying to be scary, but very much failing to be scary. They just look corny as hell. And for me, it just doesn't work. The ghost children in this film are substantially worse than the ghost children of the first film. Oh yeah, like I said, this film takes the worst qualities of the first film and puts them at the forefront. This is the perfect example of that. So up next on my list of negatives, and that's gonna have to go to the characters. Every character in this film absolutely sucks. Everybody is a one-dimensional character. There's no depth, there's no feeling, there's no attachment to literally anybody in this film. You got the mom who is trying to evade her abusive baby daddy, and that's pretty much her only trait. And you've got the abusive baby daddy who is also, that's his only trait, and he's over the top, like, so much so that it's almost unbelievable that a person like that would exist. That's his only trait. Then you've got the twins, and you know, one of them's like, no, I don't want to join the ghosts. And then you got the other one that's all like, yeah, I want to join the ghosts, and that's their only trait. And then you got Detective So-and-so, which, like I previously stated, he is the only character in this film that doesn't have one dimension. Like, he's got a little bit of depth to his character, unlike anybody else in this film. So that's why he's the only positive of this film. But yeah, the characters in this, basic, generic fodder, and terrible, boring, and I just don't like them. I don't really, other than, you know, Private Eye so-and-so, nobody else here is worth like, I'm trying my hardest to remember names, and I can't. Everybody's so forgettable. So up next on my list of negatives, unfortunately, is Bagul. Yeah, Bagul, I think, is a cool character. I thought he was really cool in the first film. They showed him a little bit too much at the end, which is why he ended up making it to the gray area on my list in that film. This one, however, he is shown entirely too much. Like, any form of subtlety is thrown out the window. Like, in this film, there is no theater of the mind at all. And, you know, I think that's part of what made the first film stand out and made it as good as it was. This one, however, you don't get to use your imagination at all. Everything is pushed right into the forefront in your face, and it's unfortunate. Bagul is also one of those things that's just way too in your face. They show way too much of him, and it doesn't work. Not for me. It just show too much of him, and whenever you see him too much, it loses its effect. So therefore, Bagul is kind of lame in this one, because he just kind of stand there like, it really sucks, because he seems like a cool character, but, you know, again, they show entirely too much of him, and that is very unfortunate. So, my final negative. We are here at the end of the review, and my final negative about this film is the jump scares. Again, the jump scares for the last film was in the gray area for me, because there were some jump scares done very well in the first film. However, this one, none of them work. There are zero effective jump scares. There is zero, like, atmosphere. Like, the first film had a lot of atmosphere, and this one has none of that. And, like, any jump scare, like, you can tell that they're trying to build up to a jump scare, and if you're like a seasoned horror movie watcher, you can see those coming from a mile away. Like, if you were maybe if you were like a 5-year-old watching this for the very first time and don't know about how a jump scare works, and that tension sound build up and then suddenly loud noise, maybe that'll scare you. But I mean, again, you'd have to be pretty new to any type of horror film for any of those to be effective. The jump scares in this film are just hot relish. They're doo-doo garbage. They are not good at all, in the slightest. They are terrible. Like, I just feel like the jump scares in this film were a complete and utter failure. They don't work for me. You know, I don't talk to anybody about Sinister 2. That's not a movie that's brought up into conversation at all. So yeah, let me know, what do you guys think about the jump scares in this film? Because I think they're trash. Maybe they're effective for somebody, but they certainly are not effective for me, not in this film. Yeah, they're not good. They're not good. All in all, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 1 out of 10. Like, I would not watch this movie again. I'm not going to. I don't plan on watching this film ever again in my life. It was a waste of time. You know, like I said, I walked out of the theaters whenever this was first released, and I had no desire to finish it. And, you know, I only finished the film for the sake of making this video, and now I know that it's a terrible movie, and I had zero pleasure in watching it. And I know I sound like I'm being entirely too harsh on this film. I get it. But I mean, there's not a Sinister 3 in the works. There's not been talks of a Sinister 3 in the works at all. And, you know, that should say something. This movie is so bad, it ruined any potential to become a bigger franchise, because this film just really sucks. And as negative as I've made this review, I understand it's probably not going to be the most enjoyable watch, but again, the completionist in me really wanted to get both of these reviews knocked out. You know, I would love to see somebody take this franchise and take all the things that were good about Sinister and take out all the things that were bad about Sinister and make a really good film, because this is one of those franchises that has so much potential, but it was just squandered. And it really sucks to see something like that happen, you know? Like, I want to see everybody in life succeed, even my enemies, you know? Life's too short not to succeed, and unfortunately, this movie really dropped the ball and kind of buried itself. So I would very much love to see somebody take this franchise and just move it into a positive area and make it super scary and make it super unnerving and be one of those movies that everybody talks about, because the first one had that potential. It very much could have been one of those types of movies. And the second one happened, and whoo, buddy, not good. So let me know what you guys think of this film down in the comments below. I am very curious to see your guys' thoughts, because this is not one of those movies that's ever really brought up into conversation. So I welcome you guys to bring it into the conversation with me in the comments below. I'll meet you guys down there. So that's just gonna about do it for me. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate. I really will. And until next time, my name is Nightshade. This has been The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends.